Come on in, everybody. We see you out there walking the hallways. There's refreshments in the back of the room. Maybe even a little bit of coffee that keeps pouring. Come on in. Come on in.
Oh, now I'm going to go and have to get some coffee.
Well, you can go ahead and get some coffee. I can hold them off until you get back. The droves. I can hold off the droves until you get back. That
looks really nice. Coffee's one of those weird things that always smells better than it tastes.
All depends upon the brand of coffee.
I think bacon's a bit like that as well.
So we don't have them as sponsors yet, so I probably shouldn't say that Starbucks coffee to me is the most repulsive liquid on the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
It's all burned to me. It tastes horrible. You need a nice, soft, smooth roast. It's like wine, you know. There are so many different types and so many different blends and grindings and that kind of thing, combinations that most of it is incredibly good and some of it just tastes like burnt acid.
But there's a lot of crap coffee out there.
Yes, there is. Come on in, everybody. How you doing? Come on. Chat is open. Super chats are always welcome and available. We are over on YouTube. Our audience is growing. Can't believe how that's sprung up all of a sudden.
What's the number count on that now?
They said once you pass your first 1,000, everything snowballs from there. But right now we are sitting at 1.6K subscribers.
Well, every time I come see you guys, whether it's a Thursday or a Sunday, every time I come see you, the count goes up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we're at 1.54 not more than a couple days ago. So we're growing exponentially. It's good.
Yeah, growing a lot quicker than me.
It's all getting that snowball to start tumbling down the hill. That's what it is. Come on in.
I've not been able to get past 734 for the past 2 months.
The Aero Comics 4.0 channel sitting at 229, but I'm not doing a lot to foster subscribers over there. I got to put more films, more videos up. Come on in, folks. The chat is open. Super chats are available. Go over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done it by now. Welcome everybody in the Indie Volt Radio. Glad everything there is automated, and we hope you're listening this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Varian's not quite here yet. I'm not sure if he's going to wake up in time.
Bless.
Thought we'd have a few other guests as well. If you want to be on the show, definitely send me a PM on Facebook, and we'll see about getting you in. I should probably jump over to Twitter and see if Sim is around. Sim and Sugar. They haven't been on the show in a while.
And Sim is an award winner.
Yes, he is.
A multi-award winner now.
Multi-award winner. Yep. Oh, let me pop that into the Arrow room, maybe. Over to Sim.
Da, da, da.
Come on in, everybody. Come on in. We're sitting here pouring the coffee this morning. So it's a wet Thursday here.
Oh, that's a pity. It's wet.
The last couple days have been rainy and gloomy. We're getting the fall switch turned on here in Michigan yesterday. Went down to about 40 degrees. And it's just been wet ever since.
Our autumn seems to have started as well. So we had a nice day at the weekend and a couple of dry days, but you can tell there's something in the air.
Yeah. Yep. Come on in, folks. Come on in. I can hear you breathing. Welcome in. It's time for another breakfast buzz for Thursday, September 23rd. Holy crap. September 23rd, 2021. Come on in.
How quickly did that happen?
Yeah. It's crazy crap. Time speeds up when you get older anyway.
Yeah, I know. I noticed.
As I tell everybody, you ever see that old movie, The Time Machine? That's about where I'm at now. Foosh, 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 foosh. Glenn's in the house. Hey, Glenn. How are you?
Hey, Glenn.
Glenn says, hey, guys. Hey, Glenn, hope you're doing well. Do you need a link this morning? Let me know. So far, it's just Russ and myself. And this beautiful, unending cup of coffee. Bottomless.
Bottomless coffee.
From the desk of a small press publisher. He's going after tea.
Ooh.
He'll be right back. Go, Joe.
Ooh, what sort of tea is that?
Who knows? He's gonna go make a cup of tea. Probably Lipton in a bag. That repulsive stuff over there that you guys barely consider as tea. And again, that probably blew Lipton for being a sponsor as well. But they haven't approached it, so they're fair game. Fair game.
Lipton tea. I haven't heard of Lipton tea in an age. Didn't really drink much of that stuff.
No, you're not a tea drinker?
Oh, I like tea. I just didn't drink any Lipton tea.
Yeah, see, right.
Yeah, I suppose that illustrates the point.
Mm-hmm. It's like me and Starbucks. It's just not what it's supposed to be. Yeah. There's so many other better I don't know, to your taste, I guess.
Yeah.
Lipton's great for sun tea. You stick about 10 bags in a large jar.
Right.
Stick it out on the outside or on the windowsill and just let it cook.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's what they call sun tea here in the States.
That sounds like a very American thing.
Well, you put 10 bags in, it gets pretty potent. You get one of them gallon jugs that used to hold pickles.
No.
With a lid on it or a large pitcher, and just cook yourself up
I quite like a teapot.
Cold tea, yeah.
I quite like a teapot.
We have iced tea, sweet tea here, where they throw all sorts of sugar in it.
Mm.
Come on in, everybody. Have a seat. We're talking tea while we're pouring coffee.
Coffee.
Absolutely.
So I said last week I was going to get this artisan Kirby book.
Yeah.
Which I got, which is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't stop myself, so I went and got a remitter one as well.
Yep. We really need to make Amazon a sponsor because we can sell their books all day.
Yeah.
You know, they have some great things over there that very few. See, I never knew that those artisan books come out in paperback until you showed one on the Sunday Funnies.
No, I mean there's one coming from BuZz, and I think that's an artisan soft cover, and that's Silver Surfer. And I have the first run of Silver Surfer in essential form.
Sure.
From him. But it would be really nice to get the artisan version. And then I've got something on my wish list because that's for Christmas, I think, because it's like £120, so it's like $150.
That's not a soft cover then.
That's an A3 artist hardcover of full page splashes and covers from John BuZz.
Yeah, and that's all done shot at actual size too.
Yeah. So
those are real pretty.
Really looking forward to that. Yeah, and that turns out
expensive
hobby.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, they have one out of Simonson's Manhunter that I would love to have and just haven't gotten.
Yeah, there's a Simonson Thor one for an artisan one, and again that's on the list.
Yes, yeah. All right, we're going to run the opening, folks, and we'll be back on the other side. Maybe, or maybe not with the pouring coffee still. So we'll see if we want to show our faces this morning.
It's not pretty.
That's why I said nobody wants to look at me all day. No. All right, everybody, hang on. Here we go.
And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Up, coffee's still up. Welcome in, everybody. Come on in. Hit that like button out there, if you have a mind to. We are over on YouTube. We're on Facebook this morning. We are heard internationally on Indie Volt Radio, indievolt.com. Stream a Google app, wherever finer podcasts can be heard. So come on in. Glenn is offering to come on because he's
get him in.
Foolish, I guess. I don't know. Here we go.
Just bonkers.
We'll send him a link. Anybody else want a link? PM me over on Facebook, and if I like you enough, I'll send you a link.
I remember that next time you ignore me.
I never mean to ignore you, Russ.
No, I know. But I would understand.
It's not intentional. Sometimes just busy. I did download that file you sent me.
Good.
Finally. Glenn's in the house. We're still pouring coffee, Glenn. That's all everybody sees. But you're here.
Here's Glenn.
We'll stop the coffee long enough to introduce ourselves. Maybe we'll go back to pouring coffee again. Varian's not around this morning. He wasn't on Geekgasm last night either. So, or he was, but his face wasn't on camera, and he sounded kind of under the weather. So, there it is. There we are.
Hi there. You all right?
The light.
Good to see the Brits taking over, claiming that land back.
That's because you're up. It's the afternoon where you are. You should be up. You've been able to chase off your hangovers already.
It's kind of just a default thing.
I don't get hangovers anymore. I don't do that kind of thing. I had a hangover for about 2 weeks now. Don't do that anymore.
I got stone drunk one time at a convention, and I swore I'd never do it again after I was holding my head in pain all day. Never again.
A long time ago, nothing to do with comics or anything, I went out to a Christmas party, and this girl I was with decided I should... she was telling me how much I'd had to drink, and at the end of it, I drank nearly a bottle of vodka. And I didn't. It was a bit of a joke because I was. My mother was going down to my brother's for Christmas dinner, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then the next morning, I woke up. This girl woke me up. She wasn't with me. She came round, and she woke me up. And I'd apparently been. I blacked out in the bar, and then woke up the next morning. And she told me that I'd been chasing rabbits across the field for my Christmas dinner at 2 o'clock in the morning, full of vodka. And I didn't touch vodka, I think, for about 20 years after that.
Yeah.
So
I had a night with Mad Dog 2020 grape one time. I've never touched the stuff since. So that me and a couple of friends just overdid it because that's all they had at the convenience store that was next door to us. And boy, I haven't been able to drink grape soda or have grape jelly ever since. Just no, not gonna happen. But at the convention, this was a long time ago. This is back in the back. I like to tell folks that was the last time Marvel ever sprung for the liquor. And I'm being serious here too. That's the last time they paid for liquor because we drank. I drank myself totally sober.
So it's your fault.
It was all my fault. You know, those screwdrivers I could handle.
I think that's one thing I've not done is drunk myself sober. I can't
imagine that. And they put a big sketch pad in the middle of the room, and we were drawing like crazy. And
sure it was booze.
I'm in the middle of a drawing, and I'm rubbing my forehead, and I'm slapping my face. And I'm going, "Fuck, I'm sober." Like, God damn it! But I paid for it the next day. I did.
Yeah,
I paid, and I swore I'd never drink at a show again. And it's only been very casual, maybe a beer, but
yeah.
Oh, you're there to do business. You're not there to. I was always there to do business. I wasn't there to party.
That's right.
From that point on, I learned my lesson really painfully. Empyrean's in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Indie Volters. Empyrean, I'm coloring your Hero Bot story right now.
Woohoo.
Looking forward to that and having a blast doing it too. From the desk, Joe, again, since that's a lot of drinking to drink yourself sober. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It says to tell you how long ago it was. I do remember drawing on that sketch pad a picture of a cartoon, of course, because my style is very cartoony, and when you're drunk, you get even looser. But drew a cartoony picture of Bill Sienkiewicz holding his hand up, going. Elektra's this deeply caring character comes back from the dead, and Marvel wants me to draw a book of it, and I'm not sure if I want to do it or not. And then it after this long balloon like that, he says, "Damn it, Frank, hand me the Crayolas." And if you know or have ever read Elektra Lives, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I've never read it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
A lot of it goes back to her childhood, and a lot of it is drawings done in crayon.
Not a fan of Bill's work. I appreciate him as an artist.
Yeah.
He has incredible ability, but it's just not my kind of thing.
No.
I've seen phenomenal work from him that is just awe-inspiring, and you sit there and compositionally it's amazing, and work that I do not care for at all. But I guess that's the way my tastes range. Dave the Supreme's in the house. Morning, guys. Good morning, Dave. How are you? No Varian yet this morning. Not sure if he's going to peel himself up off the couch and be on the air this morning. Pardon?
A bit early for him at the moment.
Yeah.
What time is it where you are? What time is it?
It is. It's 9:20.
9:20. Yeah.
I have coffee. I was up. I put the room together. Everything's good. Put my sheet up. It's all right.
Well, as you know, I've never got into this coffee thing. The only time I drink coffee is when I'm in the United States. So when in Rome.
Right.
But otherwise, I never drink it. I drink tea.
Do quadruple espressos and buzzing all day.
All that stuff, it's just killing you.
I imagine everything is one way or another.
One way or another, yeah.
Brian K. Moritz in the house. Morning, Brian. How are you? Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Passing through to say hello. Brian, you're welcome in, buddy. If you want to come in, drop me a line on Facebook. We'd love to have you on this morning. We're just sitting here shooting the breeze because it's another episode of BrEaKfAsT Buzz. And we're all that's why the Englishers are here, because none of us here in the States apparently are up, other than myself. So, and Brian, of course, get Cookie to supply you with a little bit of coffee, Brian, and come on in. You are welcome.
God damn it, some of us have work to do.
Yeah, some of us have a lot of work to do. What are you working on now, Glenn? Oh, actually, we should probably introduce ourselves to the radio audience.
Yeah.
So we appreciate them so much, we're ignoring them at this point. So Brian says, appreciate it. I promise I'll show up on a Thursday. Got to run an errand before I'm doing this huge editing project. Yeah. Okay. All right, Brian. We understand. Can't spare a couple hours for your friends? Not a problem.
I don't want to hear excuses.
Totally understand. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, apparently, because Varian's not awakened in the room yet, or else he'd be bombarding us with crazy questions. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I'm your host. I'm a longtime alternative and independent comics producer, creator, IP machine. So created a lot of things in my time, most of which nobody's seen. So it's all good. Ran my own comic shops for a good decade. Have retailed on my own for a long time. Had to deal with Diamond. I had a comic shop before Diamond had a foothold into the no, I shouldn't say foothold's too kind of a word. Sadistic monopoly on the market. Used to get comics from Big Rapids distributors, and Jim Friel, who ended up working for Bud Plant, and
there's a name.
Yeah, he was a big distributor. Printed Jack Cat's First Kingdom. Yeah. Over here, one of the first alternative indie publishers. I got to meet him once. He's a great guy. I deeply appreciate him. Got a few things, quite a few things from him over the years. He used to carry all the best art books and all the best comic resource type material. Just great stuff. But yeah, Empyrean Vol says a claw hold. Yes, I had a claw hold on the market. Did my own newspaper for a decade, my own comics and entertainment paper that I circulated here in the county, because I got tired of self-publishing and butting my head against Diamond after they kept telling me what books I could and could not print. And I realized Diamond was making more money than I was, so I was done. Now I'm back doing comics again for the direct market, as well as loving this podcasting, and we've crowdfunded a book, the Indie Volt Revolt book, which was pretty successful. It didn't. I could have sold one copy and I would have been successful. It was print on demand, so. But I was going to print it anyway with a lot of the talent that you see here on this program whenever they're awake and want to come on the air. But now I'm working on Arrow Comics 4.0. We've got four products a month, hopefully monthly, as soon as we gear up completely. There's just been a couple of thanks to the bug and supply problems and supply chain problems. There's been a couple of glitches, but we're getting those ironed out as best as we can, and we'll be making some huge announcements as soon as we're up and running on a regular basis. Our product's going to be available through exclusively through Liberty Distributors, ledg.us. That provides books for retailers on a order direct to your shelf type of business. When you order things from Liberty already has them on hand. In fact, Varian's got a large warehouse that he's finalizing on in order to take on all of these books, and he has quite a few books already. If you look at ledg.us, I think there's a listing up there. If you sign on as a retailer, the books that are listed there are available immediately. You can order them on Monday, and as fast as the UPS or the shipping company can get them to you, they will be in your hands, bagged and boarded and ready to go on your shelf for your pull list to help make retailers some money. So that's what we're all about. And Arrow is very happy to be associated with Liberty. We're exclusive through them at the moment until Diamond makes me a sweetheart deal. And hey, we guess we could take you on. We could use your money. Yeah. Anyway.
Don't hold your breath comes to mind on that.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Things are changing.
After
everything, may be looking for more customers soon.
Yeah. They are desperately. I know they contacted Image and says, hey, your output, if you double your output, you might help us. Oh, okay.
Please let us distribute your book.
Yeah. Well, there was a point that they started enforcing minimums and telling me what books. I had a couple of really cherry books, real top quality stuff. I was very proud of. Had Bill Loeb's and Bill Bryant inking a Oz book that was going real well, and the numbers were jumping up on it. And then they came at me and says, well, you got to end the book. Got to end the book at 9 because you're under our minimums. I says, I'm only under your minimums this time, but have you seen how we're trending upward? Next time I will be above your minimums. And that's exactly why they told me to stop the book. So Anyway, I can
Well done.
bitch and moan all day, which is probably what Breakfast Buzz is made for. But
the Diamond Special.
Yeah. Well, that was just one of a lot of different things that was happening. And it got to the point where we were playing with them as much as they were playing with us because we were so fed up with them. We pulled a few things, and
I had problems with
actually
when I was
made some money.
I had problems when I was publishing Crikey 10 years ago. That was it just wasn't worth putting it through them. The stories. It just wasn't worth it. It was just a waste of time. It was just giving it away, basically, from my point of view. So I didn't do it. I just went direct.
But for me, indie and alternative comics are where it's at. And it's a great form of communication. It's a phenomenal art form. Love this business, despite some of the people in it. And especially through this Indie Volt podcast, we've got to meet a lot of people, especially within the last year when everybody's stuck in their house. Made a lot of great friends and a lot of good associates. And one of those is right next to me here, Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's Russ Leach. I'm a comic book artist from the UK. I've done some stuff. Done some stuff.
You're still doing stuff.
Still doing stuff. Yeah, my mind is all
stuffed,
collywobbled at the moment.
You can't
discombobulated.
You can't talk about some of the stuff you're working on.
I can talk about some of the stuff. I'm doing some stuff for Doctor Who. Again, I'm obviously doing the second book for Only Death Can Save Us, which is issues 4, 5, and 6 for Arrow Comics. I worked on Doctor Who, worked for Cartoon Network, did some stuff for Marvel, but now I'm focused on my own books. But I keep getting prodded by people, which is great. I can't complain. I'm very, very busy, and work is great. So if you want to find out more about that, I'm Comic Book Black Belt on YouTube, or you can go find me at russleach.com, and all the links are there for all the stuff that I do. There you go.
It's either feast or famine, isn't it?
Oh, it is. At the moment, it's I'm getting fat.
You're either too busy or you're not busy enough. Yeah.
Too much. Yeah.
I think I'd be worried if I was just not too busy. I'd be scared it was going to dry up.
Glenn, you're funny, Glenn. You got 5 books you're working on at once. Come on.
I've been too busy in the past, but I've never been too busy like this, I must say.
That's good though. Cherish that, because that's what you want to do. I caught myself. I was coloring in the middle of coloring a book a month or so ago, and I'm like going, I got to get back to coloring, and I'm like, screw that. Since you're doing what you love to do, just shut the hell up and get to work.
Just get
to work.
It's like,
shut up.
You could be working for a big corporation somewhere.
You can have a long rest when you're dead. That'll be long enough.
That's
exactly.
Right. Till then, make stuff.
Yes, do it.
And making more stuff than either Russ or myself is Mr. Glenn Fleming, and he's here this morning. Glenn, introduce yourself.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Glenn Fleming. I'm an English writer, artist, cartoonist, and publisher. I've written and published lots of books on different subjects: science fiction, children's books, NASA Apollo astronauts, JFK assassination, FIFA World Cup soccer, D-Day, Easter Island, lots of things. You can get all those things on Amazon. But I'm currently publishing Comics Unlimited, which is a bi-monthly magazine about comics, 100-pager. And I'm just putting the finishing touches to re-releasing my DVD about Jack Kirby, which is a companion with a book I've written about the same subject. And that's about to go on Indiegogo within the next few days, I would think. And I'm releasing it to mark 60 years since the FF was published in November. Mm-hmm. And I'm also working on my cartoon character Hatch on the second book, but I don't know when that'll probably be out in the new year, I would have thought. That's all full colour, hand painted. And several other science fiction stories as well, and lots of stuff. And there he is. There's the man himself, with finally buying his singularity.
Look at that.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Awesome stuff.
I'll show you this page from the new book. If you want to see it, just finished this one this morning. Just finished inking now. Boom. There he is. Look.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at there. There's little girl hatches there too. Oh no, those are mummy hatches.
Yeah.
Look
nice,
at those hieroglyphics. That's cool. with a little bit of rockets down there in the corner. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super clean. Love that.
Yeah.
This spells hatch in what's it called? That what the Navy do with the flags?
Metaphor.
Nautical flag. Nautical
semaphore.
That's it. Metaphor.
That says
semaphore.
hatch. That says hatch in semaphore.
Oh, right. Nice.
Cool. He's found it on the inside of the pyramid.
Excellent.
So,
what's that down there? Is a little that's a little Enterprise down there. I can see.
Yeah. This one,
that's cool. That's funny.
Saturn V. The Russian ship, I think it's called Energia or something, that was bigger than a Saturn V that never flew. Just all little references all around.
That's excellent, mate. Like that.
You got. There we go. Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Paul McCartney's bass guitar somewhere there. It's all little clues in there for what he's doing. So that's really good. I like working on that.
That's part of the fun of doing your own artwork, is showing in that little detail back there. So I've got a serialized strip that I'm doing of a young lady who gets transported over to a Flash Gordon type universe, and there's an incredibly large curtain there. She gets mad and pulls the curtain down. There's all these pictures behind it, right, that are all like little things, some of which are coming up and some of which are that kind of detail. Put the Liberator up there in one of them from Blake 7. So nobody in the States will recognize what it is, but almost nobody. But I know what it is. What?
I hid some characters once in the Ben 10 strip. There was 2 crowd scenes, and I put Rick in both of them. From Rick and Morty. So it's out the back. I don't know if anybody found it or not, and I hid a couple of other bits and pieces in there.
They probably did. They just thought it was funny. That's all.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a lot better than some people that I know went through and they were angry at Marvel and went through and decided they were going to supplement the word sex on every page.
Oh God.
One way or another. Yeah.
What was that page that I think it was it Steve Ditko did it, where he wrote something on a neon sign down the side, or was it Gil Kane in Spider-Man?
Knowing their temperament, it was probably both of them, especially if it was some sort of expletive. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was it said, I can't remember what it said. You didn't really see it, obviously, because the editors didn't see it. And then when it's published, I used to produce posters for the local playhouse, and I always used to put my name on the artwork. I do cartoons and stuff that advertising different plays, and I think it's fair enough that I put my name on the artwork. And then when I got printed copies back, my name was always off, so it became a real cat and mouse between me and the editor. And then I got down to put in GBF rather than my name. He still found those, and he was looking for these things. And he rang me up one day and he said, "Did you get your posters?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Where is it? Where is it?" and I'd written it backwards in the tire tread of a truck. And there it was. He said, I want. Am I allowed to swear? He said, you beat me. I said, "Yeah, I got you. And he stopped giving them to me after that. So I shot myself in the foot. But it was great.
That's what happens when you show up your editors, kids. I
told everybody,
you might lose that job.
The dog, and they all laughed at him. And then when I told them that he stopped giving me work, they laughed even louder.
Emily Zelasco's in the house. Emily, good morning. Good morning, Emily. I haven't sent you your books yet. I've got half a dozen packages I have to get together for people and get them out, and I've been swamped. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I just haven't got the time to put all that stuff together, and when I do, it'll all be at once, and everybody will have it at once, probably hopefully soon. I can't make any solid promises. Imperium says, "Where was Thunderbird 5? No, wait, Thunderbird 3. Thunderbird 5 is a space station. Yeah.
That's on the next page.
That's there you go. It's on the next page. Yeah. I saw somebody put all the Thunderbirds up to scale, and I was amazed that Thunderbird 5 was as big as it was. I always thought it was a lot smaller.
No, it's huge.
But they drew it absolutely huge. Yeah, that who was it, Alan or one of the Tracy kids running around that whole station by themselves?
John. John Trace is up there, yeah, the blonde one. Well, there's two blonde ones in there. It's usually John, but sometimes Alan does go up there to give John time to be in a mission.
They traded off, yeah. They traded off at times. Good morning, Greg. Greg Harm's in the house. Good morning, Greg.
See, John Tracy's got the most important part of that organization. He's the least liked character, so they stuck him on a space station.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't hear anybody calling for help, then they don't set off, do they? I think it's great that we're the only answer people who speak in English, though.
John was Mom's favorite. That's why.
Just ignore everybody else.
Mom was never around. Emily says it's no problem. Don't worry about it. The books. I am worried about it. I will get them to you. Emily, I deeply appreciate your work and what you do, and want to make sure you have those books. Good morning, Randy, Russ, and Glenn. Hello, chat. Genuine Comics in the house. Good morning, folks. Good morning, everybody. I have no direction this morning. I just pulled in a few friends, almost like Sunday Funnies style. And
what's happened to Daphne? Where is she? Is she still in Florida, or is she?
Well, no, she ran down there and chased after the mouse for a little bit in Disney World, and she hasn't been on the regular program since. I think she was on Geekgasm last night, but she didn't ask for a link this morning. So,
but she's okay.
I think she's all right. I don't know.
What about?
We all got together in New York and got to see her and said hello, and I haven't seen her or heard from her pretty much since. So,
is Luke okay?
No. Okay. Our thoughts and prayers are with Luke Stone does hybrids. He's still in a coma. They're still trying to chase the COVID off. Last time I heard, that's going on like 3 weeks. So he's going to have a long recovery road back. We hope. Wish him and his family the very best. Hope they're doing well.
You're so sure, isn't it?
It is. We keep waiting for progress report. The real aggravating thing is the hospital's restrictions aren't. I don't think they're allowing visitors up there either. So we're not getting updates online very much, and we're all extremely worried and concerned for his health. So
I hope he's okay. Yeah, it's bad news.
Yeah, Genuine says he's really worried about Luke, and Perian says that that's terrible. Yeah, he's been up there for over a month now. It took him a week of being in the hospital before they gave him IV antibiotics. But you really have to be careful, folks. Keep yourself healthy.
This is going to go on for a while, isn't it?
Yeah. It has, and it's getting closer to home too, which is really crazy because we went all last year. We caught it. We caught something that if it wasn't it was something incredibly close to it at the start of 2020. The wife and I took the wife about 6 weeks to get past it, and took me a couple of weeks to get past it. And both of us knew better that once we caught something like that, we ran to urgent care and got a round of antibiotics, and I was able to kick it fairly quickly, and she wasn't. But about 6-8 months after that, in the middle of all of the restrictions and stuff, my brother came down with it, and he was in the hospital for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
I got really close to the respirator and got out of there in one piece. And then we all know about Ralph Griffith, who caught it, who's a dear friend of ours that institutor, one of the original founders of Arrow Comics, came down with it and had a rough time with it and passed in December.
Wow.
But he also had lung problems to start with and had diabetes and all of that. And his immune system was already compromised before he went in. He went in for COPD, and they kept telling him he had COVID. And after 3 tests up the nose that were negative, they stuck him in the COVID ward anyway. Then he got better and got home, and 2 weeks later, he got COVID. So, went back in. They after a couple of weeks there of fighting it off, they sent him home with an oxygen tank and told him that because of his previous condition, they weren't going to be able to give him a lung transplant, and that the COPD was getting worse and worse. So we did a really good show back in October with him and Stuart Kerr on Sunday Funnies, covering the history of Arrow Comics, and he knew at that point that he didn't have long.
Wow.
And he passed in December in his sleep. So,
well,
sorry for dragging everybody down.
Yeah,
hey, welcome to this.
On a more upbeat, congratulations, you two, for your award wins the other night. The other day. Or the night,
well, some earn them and some have them thrust upon them. So.
Well,
and Varian said he would be here this morning, but he's got a bad internet connection. Definitely just got it. It says I've got some VDAP internet connection is what he said. I'm not sure exactly what VDAP stands for, but it's probably some sort of
it's
it's
Ugandan for vodka.
There you go. Must be. Remember, folks, we are TVMA DLSV. So when we say we've had a long fucking bout with rain up here,
we absolutely fucking mean it. Yeah,
we absolutely fucking mean it.
Fucking yeah.
Bob says Daphne will be on Monday Madness at 4 p.m. She'll be everywhere else but here, I guess.
Right.
Good to know, Pops. Thanks. Anyway, starting to wonder if it's something we said. Empyrean Vol, hey, from the desk of a small press publisher, there was a live action movie they did in 2004 and an Amazon animated series they put out 2 years ago. What? For what? Obviously, something I missed. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Joe asked, why do I have a vague memory of an animated Thunderbirds show movie? Thunderbirds 2036 or something. Yes. There was an anime that was, I think it was 20 birds. Thunderbirds 2036. It was kind of a bad goof. The show wasn't horrible. I mean, it was just as computer animation was coming in, and all of the ships were computer animated, and some of the stories were okay, if I remember it right. And I think all of the Thunderbirds got together into one great big large mecha, didn't they? Thunderbirds 2036. Yeah, very Japanese.
Well, the Thunderbirds program that's on now, I don't know if it's the same one that's animated, and that's appalling. They changed all the characters like they usually do, and they changed all the whole.
Is that the computer generated one?
I think it is. Yeah. It's terrible.
Is it like the computer generated Captain Scarlet they've done? Because that was really bad as well. Yeah,
they should just show the old ones. The old ones are brilliant. But I didn't see. I was warned off by my sister. She said to me, "Have you seen the what's he called, the guy at Star Trek, the director,
J.J. Abrams?
No, sorry, the guy. Kurtzman? No, the guy with the beard. The guy with the beard.
Right. Jonathan Frakes.
Jonathan Frakes. Yeah, the one that he directed.
Yeah.
Which seems to have effectively ruined his career.
Yes.
My sister rang me up and she said, "Have you seen the new Thunderbirds film?" I said, "No," and she said, "Don't go and see it." So I've never seen it. So she said it was really bad.
It wasn't entirely his fault because he's directed other movies before, and he's back doing single like episodic television. But I don't think anybody will ever trust him with a movie budget again.
Wow!
But I sat through it. It was atrocious.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton played Mr. Tracy, and all of the kids were teens or younger, and it was just an embarrassment.
I just don't think something like that can be live action. No. I don't see the point.
I was going to say that you get these shows that pop up that are phenomenons that are right place, right time, right thing, that become super classics. Like, for example, The Prisoner. I cannot sit through I have not been able to sit through an episode of The Prisoner.
Really?
Though I like the topic, I love what it stands for. I have no complaints against the production or the characters. I just cannot sit through it for nothing.
The original,
yeah.
Wow.
The reboot that they had was that they ran on one of the cable stations here. They had a really quick reboot. I think it was 6 episodes of it.
Right.
That was it wasn't bad, but it wasn't unwatchable.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh,
the interesting thing about The Prisoner for me was, did you get a series called Danger Man, Randy?
We did. I haven't sat through it. It was The Secret Agent over where you're at, right?
Right. Well, if you watch that and then watch The Prisoner, and mid, or
it was Danger Man over there. It was The Secret Agent over here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What's he called? The guy, Patrick McGowan.
Yeah.
He produced it, wrote a lot, directed a lot. He was very, very involved in the whole thing. And in the middle of making the Prisoner series, he went and did I Station Zebra.
Okay.
And effectively, he's the same character in them all. Danger Man, I Station Zebra, and the Prisoner. And in the Prisoner, when he wasn't there, he wasn't in the Prisoner's show. If you understand what I mean, he couldn't be, could he? But they didn't break. He needed to make this film with Rock Hudson for some reason, and it's the same character. He's this secret agent. He's just this mysterious guy, and at the end of that, you think he's a Russian and all this, because he uses Russia's end, Do svidaniya. He says that to that Russian guy, doesn't he? And then he comes back.
He says, "Be seeing you."
But another ironic thing about another ironic thing about the Thunderbirds film is that one of the reasons that Jerry Anderson made marionettes rather than live action was because the actors he was speaking to tended to be prima donnas, and he couldn't get on with them, and they wouldn't do what he said. So he made the series with marionettes, and he proved, and Jonathan Frakes proved him right, didn't he?
Yeah.
and again, I don't think all of that was his fault, because it's usually a huge team effort, but the director does usually take the brunt for the failure.
I like Jonathan Frakes. I think he's good.
Yeah.
He's one of the few left that are close to normal.
He married an incredibly popular soap opera star, and they've still been married ever since.
Seems everybody else that was in the next generation has turned into weirdos. But
oh well, and we don't know what he does off camera.
No.
So you never know.
It's perfectly acceptable to be a weirdo, because I'm one as well. But just some of the things they say are a bit strange.
Most everybody in
rants and
anybody in the arts, and I know a lot of art comic people that aren't all there. 100%.
Oh, they're all precious. Yeah.
If it's not the ego, it's the eccentricities or whatever. There have been a number of really big comic curmudgeons over the years. Alex Toth and C.C. Beck and immediately come to mind, where Gil Kane had a reputation of being a kind of angry type guy, depending upon how you caught him. But
look at Steve Ditko. He was a guy
Ditko also
he needed to live on the moon, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was he married, Ditko?
Not that I'm aware of. He sequestered himself up into an apartment, I know, in New York, and kept working.
Yeah.
So you look at all these people, these geniuses, and you think, I'm never gonna do anything anywhere near what they do, probably because I'm not as odd as they are.
Yeah.
But then you look at people like Kirby or Buscema, and you look at the workhorses they were and the way they were.
Yeah.
They were just straight up and down. They were extremely creative, but they weren't your nut job artists.
Well, look at a lot.
They were. They worked hard. They had a discipline about them, and those are the people that I tend to gravitate towards. Those are the people that I look at and go, right, I want to be like them.
Well, like a lot of artists also have a problem with substance abuse because they're looking to escape. There's a classic urban legend, or I wasn't around to see it personally, about Bill Everett constantly drinking and Wally Wood constantly drinking, and there are a lot of bits of history like that. Just like
that sounds like me. It just depends on how much you're drinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think so many artists are troubled souls, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean they have a lot of chaos in them, which is how they express their art, which is it's a source of material. Whereas my source comes from a sense of calm and of being.
Yeah. Coffee.
I'm going to go get one in a minute. And coffee.
But the way it's like you'll know George Best, Russ.
Yeah,
he was a soccer player and a top soccer in the 60s, probably the best in the world at the time. And he was an alcoholic and all that kind of thing. But I don't think that it was the football that did that to him. I think that's what he was. He just happened to be a footballer. There will have been 1,000 George Best people like him, but they just weren't famous footballers or famous artists or famous singers and whatever. So I think it's more to do with the character than what they do. I know they may live a life of excess, but you know,
I just think it's in you. Yeah,
I don't know if it's
kind of person.
I don't know if it's excess as much as escape.
Yeah.
You know, because there's addiction, I think, comes from the need to remove yourself from reality. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's I get my stress relief by removing myself from reality and going and drawing. That's what it is.
Drawing or reading comics or
going to the club 3 times a week and punching people. That helps.
There you go. Whatever you need to do. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of punching people, I thought I was going to get punched the other day. I was going down the slip road, and you know when somebody else's slip road is joining your slip road, and you're supposed to get over to let them on. Yeah. Well, I couldn't get over because it was a 2-lane. I couldn't get over, so I had to carry on. So this guy had to stop. He had to stop. It was my right of way. He had to give way, and he had to stop. And he wasn't having that. Anyway, all of a sudden, I realised this car's behind me. He's coming up and going back and making me notice. God, and I can see him. And he's a skinhead. He's looking, and he looked like Vinnie Jones, you know. And and I thought, oh shit, here we go. No, so anyway, then the next exit I was coming off. So he's behind me. Then I got to the traffic lights, and he's behind me. Then I made a right, and he's behind me. And I thought, oh, this is going to end really, really well. But luckily for me, I think I was picking up Helen, and she was at the top of the road, and she waved, and I stopped to pick her up, and he drove past, but he came back the other way.
Good God!
And then he saw Helen getting in the car, and I don't know, but I think he thought I didn't know he was tailing me. Because I just didn't know. I didn't look at him. You see, I saw him coming, but I just looked away, and he just carried on. And I thought he was going to jump out at one point, just because he had to obey the rules.
Yeah.
If I could have got over, I'd have got over.
There's lots of people that don't think that the rules apply to them. Unfortunately. And there's all kinds of rules. There's rules of engagement.
Forgive me for
self-responsibility, politeness, courteousness.
Forgive me for having the Queen's English as a second language, but what is a slip road?
The road where you have like on a
off ramp, on ramp,
like an expressway.
Yeah.
When you join the main traffic flow, well, you have to stop, don't you? If you can't get on, you have to stop.
And be like a merge lane.
Yes.
We're on Magnum Force, like those guys on the bikes, siphoned off the pimp.
Yeah,
Magnum Force.
Yeah,
so there's a reference I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of Mega Force.
No,
Mega Force.
Dirty Harry.
Really bad. Harry. Okay, Magnum
it's where
Force.
You take people to assassinate them. Just take them down the slip road.
That would be a slip knot. But,
yeah, this guy wasn't happy, but he went on his way, so he must have calmed down.
Oh, that's good.
I do have to say that here in Michigan, our Department of Transportation has seemed to found, for whatever reason, their deep love for roundabouts that are driving us all crazy here. Because every time now we come up to an intersection that used to be a troubled intersection in the past, there's a freaking roundabout there. If we haven't been there in a while. And it's like freaking roundabout. And you go in some of these towns now, and literally, and I am not exaggerating, there's a roundabout every other block.
Wow.
And that somebody here in the Department of Transportation has decided it's so much better if you scrape up against somebody as opposed to what we call T-boning them, going and hitting them in the middle of their car, that there must be a need for roundabouts everywhere.
Well, let me tell you, Russ might know this. I don't know whether you've been to Europe, Randy, but in Spain and Italy,
never have.
You imagine I've driven in America, so you give way at the roundabout, don't you? You have to.
Yeah.
In America, you would give way to the left, right? You have to stop.
It would be to the right. Yeah. Oh, you're to the left. You're correct. Incoming in the car in the roundabout has the right of way.
Yes. Well, in Spain and Italy, the roundabout has to stop to let the guy on.
Okay.
Spain is bonkers. Sorry, I've spent a fair amount of time.
So the entire country is always at a standstill because you can't get around the roundabout, which is what I thought it was for.
Driving in Spain is absolutely mental.
Well, see, I have a problem here in Flint, in the fact that they have a roundabout directly in front of a factory entrance. So you don't want to go right next to an expressway, because that's where the factory is. It's right next, and the expressway is a 4-lane. It's an expressway that you merge onto. So if you come up to that roundabout, you're probably 2 blocks back, because everybody is stopping, letting all the shop traffic go through, which gets into the roundabout first. And then if you're lucky enough to go and to get onto the expressway, then you have to merge, and it's a major mess at about 3 p.m. every day.
If you go to Paris to the Champs-Elysees, they've got the biggest roundabout in the world there. It's got about 8 lanes.
Yes,
and I tell you, and you'll have an advantage over me, Randy, because you drive on the wrong side of the road, right? And like the French
to you, yes,
yeah. So, but when I went on there, it took, no kidding, it took me about 20 minutes to get off.
I was about to say, it's one of those things you can't get off.
Absolutely running around on.
You've got to be mad. You've got to be prepared to die to force your way through for your exit. It took 20 minutes. Just going round and round and round.
Up here anymore, if you're not lucky and see the sign, you can go around and around about 3 or 4 times before you figure out what lane you're supposed to get into to get off. So it gets pretty frustrating.
Take your own life in your hands driving in Paris. Good God.
Yeah. Well, it's like that all over anymore, though. But that's the old curmudgeon in me talking.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to go and get myself a coffee. Good morning, Varian. If you're there.
He's got his mic off, but our chat has blown up once we started talking about Thunderbirds. So.
Right.
The Gary Anderson aesthetic was so cool, from Thunderbirds to Fireball XL5 to Space 1999 to Captain Scarlet. Not quite in that order, but yes, we totally agree.
Captain Scarlet was just, I loved Captain Scarlet.
That's a crazy idea for a show, but beautiful execution.
I'm off me coffee. Back in a sec.
Ditko was never married. Legend has it he had a crush on Flo Steinberg. His nephew Mark had a funny anecdote about meeting Kirby, and Kirby asking if his uncle had met anyone yet. Yeah. Anecdotes is on YouTube. Comic book historian interview with Mark Ditko. That's cool.
Right. I'll check that one out.
That's cool. It's a merge road. Yes, it is. Esteban Noel. Hey, I haven't seen you in the chat before, but we appreciate you being there. Good morning, chaps. Do you guys recommend commissioning storyboard art before sequential art? The project is being developed as a graphic novel and screenplay for a TV series. I would suggest, in my opinion, to go and do the graphic novel, which means you want sequential art, and let the storyboard artists worry about turning that into storyboards. Technically, 2 very different things.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, you're right, Randy. I think because you don't want to be adapting a graphic novel from a screenplay.
No,
you should be doing it the other way around. That's my opinion.
That's our opinion, Esteban. But
we know what we're talking about.
We're long-standing comic book people. So no.
Plus, also, if you've got your graphic novel done, you've got your storyboards
pretty much there.
A long way along the road. Yeah. So.
The storyboard art, especially when you're doing movie productions, has direction. It has arrows. Yeah. It has camera angle suggestions that the director looks at or uses 9 times out of 10 in order to get that story told on paper or on film. Yeah. Where with graphic novel, you're telling a story in sequential art. And it's pretty straightforward. And I would leave the storyboarding for the storyboard artists and the graphic novel to the sequential artist. So, but definitely think about doing the graphic novel first. And that's a cheap way of getting opinions on or cheaper way of getting opinions on the work, as opposed to going through and spending millions of dollars filming a production of it. So, which is why there's so many people out there now looking for that Netflix deal, doing these properties that some of them should be straight up treatments, as opposed to being graphic novels. Pop Culture Avengers says hello, Randy, Russ, and Glenn. Good morning to all. Good morning to you too.
Morning,
Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Varian, are you doing well? Are you there yet? No, he's not.
No,
he's still having a hard time hooking up his video. Apparently, had somebody up the chat chain here say that they looked up VDAP in the Urban Dictionary and couldn't find any definition for it. So.
Right. Don't know. Never heard of it.
Anyway, good morning, everyone. That pretty much catches us up. Sorry if I missed anybody up there, up the chat line. But remember, we are available over on Facebook as well. Go over there and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and super chat us and join the channel, because eventually we are going to be doing podcasts that are only available for our channel subscribers, where we all bets will be off. And that'll probably get us into a lot of trouble.
That's the only way it should be. I've
got video I've been wanting to play for a long time, and we might Varian just won't let me do it because it's too incriminating. So anyway,
sounds a bit serious.
No, it's not. Just it's just funny that he won't let me play it.
Right. Okay.
Don't do it. I have to work with these people. Don't do it. Okay. Not a problem.
You know, you were speaking about Thunderbirds and things like that. The way the marionettes become more sophisticated over 5 or 6 years, and I read somewhere that this is why people should say what they think. When Thunderbirds, the first series, ended, Jerry Anderson thought that because his track record was basically one series, you know, like Fireball, Stingray, Thunderbirds, and he went to see Lou Grade, who was the head of ITV, I think it was at the time, and he said to him that Lou Grade said, you know, what have you got? And Jerry Anderson had created done treatments for what became Captain Scarlet, and when he made Captain Scarlet, they got together later, and probably a couple of years later, and Lou Stringer said, I wanted you to do another series of Thunderbirds. And Jerry Anderson said, I wanted to do another series of Thunderbirds, but you didn't say it, and he didn't ask, and he didn't do all. So he went ahead and created Captain Scarlet.
Man.
Yeah. So that was after he'd done the films, you know, the two Thunderbird films. And but the other story is about Thunderbird. Interesting about Thunderbirds is that up until Thunderbirds, all the series were only 30 minutes long, or 24 with adverts. You know, they were only 30 minutes long. And Jerry Anderson, I think he'd made 10 episodes of the Thunderbird series before Lou Grade saw the visual, you know, saw the show. He knew what was going on, but he hadn't seen it. And when he watched it, he said, make them an hour. So the first few, Jerry Anderson had to go back and reshoot little filler parts to make them an hour. Because he'd finished the 30-minute shows, but Lou Grade wanted it longer. So he had to, like I say, to re-edit. I mean, that's a task if you think about it, because he's cramming all that information in half an hour and then having to sort of spread it out a bit and water it down a bit, you know. But he did it. But fancy that. Fancy going there and saying, I wanted to make another series of Thunderbirds. And he said, so did I, you know.
Yeah.
Crazy. Because after Captain Scarlet, it went downhill, didn't it? With the Secret Service and Joe 90 and things like that. They weren't as good. It
started blending film in.
Yeah. That's
got away from the uniqueness of the super marionation. Yeah.
And there was, what's he doing there?
What was that, Russ? It's like,
I went with T.
And Space 1999 lasted for years, and the premise was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's impossible, the premise. What, the moon breaking away from the Earth? It's just impossible, isn't it? It couldn't happen. But it was a good series. But the second series, I think that lacked. I think they should, you know, with hindsight, they should have just made it the one. But there were some great stories in there. And then there was UFO as well. UFO was a good series.
UFO was solid. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he must have gotten over his reluctance to work with actors by that point, because they were people, weren't they, not marionettes?
Right. Well, with Thunderbirds, they only ran 26 episodes plus the 2 movies, right?
Yeah. And then don't forget, we've got all that Frank Bellamy artwork from TV21 on Thunderbirds.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, we went over that on Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
They pulled out a bunch of the old albums and showed them.
Yeah. Fantastic work. What a great artist he was. Absolutely brilliant.
Everybody working on that strip during that period was just amazing.
Yeah. It's a great.
Varian, are you alive? Yeah. Varian, are you alive this morning?
I am.
Wonderful to hear your dulcet tones.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Varian. Are you well?
I'm doing okay. I had internet issues this morning. We've been having thunderstorms through here, and for some reason, the wired internet was not working. So anything that was wired in was like, nah, no signal for you, sir. Wi-Fi was okay, but the computer I built for myself, I figured I'd always be wired in, so I didn't bother to install the Wi-Fi antennas.
Oh,
so my desktop can't get Wi-Fi because I didn't install the antennas correctly. Oh, I didn't do it at all. They're sitting here under the computer. I could do it at any time, but yeah,
Don't really need it.
Yeah. I'm always like, I'm always wired in, and wired in connection is the best and most stable connection there is. And today it wasn't. The Wi-Fi was working fine though, but it's working now. So
you're telling us that you're always wired?
I'm always wired, always. So I get to the show.
Empyrean Vol said Stingray kicked ass.
Yeah,
Stingray.
I have all the Ethemy songs.
Theme songs.
Oh, the theme songs. Yeah.
Ethemy sounds like a drug.
Yeah, it does.
I've got all the ethymine songs.
UFO was awesome. I love those Purple Moon Girls. Yeah, everybody did.
Oh yeah.
Every young hetero male did. Yes. Yes. Pop Culture Avenger. Those girls in UFO were something to look at.
They were.
Says it was so mysterious. Why do you need purple hair on the moon? Who cares? We just go with it. It's awesome.
It's purple. Why not?
It's purple.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
So they could look a bit more gorgeous.
They'd be modern and fit in well right now. So.
Yeah.
I joke.
Except it'd get banned, wouldn't it? Because it'd be sexist and all that stuff.
So.
It was sexist because the girls flew the what?
Oh, so you can't walk down the street now without seeing green and purple and pink hair. And
I always thought the angels on Captain Scarlet were awesome.
Yeah,
they kicked some ass. They were the big jet flyers, and yeah, they
were great, weren't they? There was a guy in the 80s when they were rerunning Captain Scarlet, and he wanted it banned because it was racist, because the bad guy was Captain Black and the commander was Captain White and all this kind of stuff, and they didn't understand the principles of the spectrum, the color spectrum, and it just goes to show it was like a precursor of today. Up in arms about it, want to get it banned, and people just want to wake up, don't they, and just sit back and enjoy something instead of bitching all the time.
We have the same problem here in the States now, from people that want to ban the restaurant Cracker Barrel for the wrong connotation of cracker.
Oh my God! What about Little Biscuits crackers? What about those? I've got to ban those as well.
Those are saltines.
I used to love that Cracker Barrel cheese.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
Russell will know what I mean by this. These people are crackers, aren't they, Russ?
Yeah, crackers.
And remember, folks, he's over in England. So.
That's
speaking the Queen's English. There's a different definition for that word than what's over here.
If you
smashing cheese, Gromit.
If you crackers, you're mad.
Yeah, bonkers,
insane.
Yeah, there's another word that you guys have that apparently will get you demonetized on YouTube. Yeah, you guys have a word for a
cigarette.
A small nagging little injury, and like if it hinders you. And it sounds a lot like our N-word. It's Niggle.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah, right. You can't say that.
Which is really weird because it doesn't sound as much like that as, say, the word rigor.
Yeah,
which would be something where you would rig up rope, or you would have rigor if you had lots of energy.
Well, the way you spelt it, you would think it would rhyme with wiggle.
Yeah, but it is wiggle. It is wiggle. Yes, I won't say it just in case, but which is bizarre, absolutely weird.
Well, there's a word I won't use, obviously, but its meaning is mean.
To be mean. Right.
Have you got that one? So you can't say that now because that's offensive, but it's not, because you're not saying what those people think you're saying. You're saying you're being mean. Do you know which word I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
We refer to it as a see you next Tuesday.
Right.
Because that's when the live wire program is on, folks.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, 9 p.m. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
We've got a proper question.
Jennifer says buggers.
Okay. Yeah. It's only the amount of time for that's yeah. But everybody's open to that. You know.
It takes a fresh.
We'll catch up to it soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's specific. It's like it's just kind of open deal on that one.
No, I'm convinced that bugger is the F word, because I heard people say bugger off.
Over there,
yeah. It's actually a sort of a very lightweight. It's the difference between over here would be the difference between, I suppose, shit and crap. Yeah. Crap would be the lighter word of the two.
But it's not a reference to that, is it?
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's just a word. It's just a word. We use words over here. We play with words in colloquial English.
That's all it is anyway. But some people still get triggered. You know.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Yeah. That's a great word, bonkers.
It takes a fresh listener to put us back on track. Esteban asks, "What's the best resource for finding artists for commissions? I've used social media with varying degrees of success, but there really needs to be a yellow pages for hungry artists."
There used to be a website called, is it Comic Artist or
Pencil Jack? Pencil Jack?
Yeah.
Jack, yeah.
Pencil Jack used to be the place to go, didn't it? Also, just surfing DeviantArt. You'll find people there.
Remember the days of digital webbing?
Digital webbing, God,
are they still around? They used to have a artists looking for work section.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that
there
site.
There are plenty of groups on Facebook. There are lots of artist groups on Facebook that you can go to. That you'll find hungry artists.
Yeah, it's like hungry hippos. Hungry.
You know, you always have to check out their portfolio and check that they're what they say they are.
Yeah, digital webbing's probably your best bet, even though it's a super old site right now and might be difficult to navigate on some of your more recent platforms.
I'm just laughing at what Russ said there. Check out.
Say what?
I'm just laughing at what he said there at the end of that. Check out to see if they are who they say they are.
Oh yeah.
Well, what I mean by that is check out to see that they are actually an artist of any worth. Because there's plenty of people, for some reason, I never understand why people cheat at games. Okay, so I can understand why when games became effectively interactive films that you might cheat to want to see the end of the story. Okay, I can kind of appreciate that. What I can't understand is people going online, okay, and playing online games and having some kind of hack where they can shoot everybody in the room. It's like, well, what are you getting out of that? Where does that get you?
Bragging.
You haven't actually done it, have you? And it's the same with artists. You see a lot of people come online and go, yeah, I drew this. And it's like, where do you expect to get with that? You're going to get a job, you're going to get a gig, and people are going to go, you're not very good, but you showed me all this stuff and you look really good. And now you're rubbish and I'm not going to pay you. Where are you going to get by pretending that you're something else? Just be the better person, be the better self, get better, you know?
That goes long before the internet was created.
Yeah.
We had, back when we were doing Arrow Comics the first time, we had an artist that we had hired on to do a supernatural book that I was writing, and his samples were incredible. And then when we actually got to see how he did his art, as he went through and light boxed a lot of other people's art in there, and then went through and inked over it to try to make it look like his own.
Oh dear. And you see, that's no different to going out and 3D models aren't quite the same thing. I understand why people use them. Okay, but if you rely on them, and if you rely on tracing photographs, your sequential art will never have any energy in it, because you'll always be looking for the picture as a reference, or you'll always be looking for the 3D model to get in exactly the position you want, and it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me, hey, there's going to come a day where there's going to be something you have to draw you don't have a reference for.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we've got to practice.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, and for me, it happened the day I had to draw a huge castle, which there's reference for castles, right? But not like the one this one was. This was different. This was not. This one was. Well, I can't say it because it's a part of a comic I can't talk about, but it was not like a castle I've ever seen before. So it required a different type of research and to tap back into that old, that creative skill set, because we get taught kind of not, like, as a kid, you do weird stuff. You make purple suns and, you draw all this stuff that can't work. And you start getting better as an artist. You start closing your mind off to that stuff.
Yeah,
so you try to make it
the clue is
as realistic as possible, or as like it could work.
The clue is what it's called, reference.
Yeah.
You can't know what everything looks like. So you gotta, and then you just work it to your own, don't you? You don't trace it and use it. You get a reference for a castle. You draw your castle using the elements that you can see, the shape of the windows or whatever.
Empyrean Vold says, so Clip Studio Pro has built-in 3D models, and a lot of people rely on them exclusively. Also, buildings and environments. I see traced buildings all the time.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with occasionally tracing. Okay, I said this before. Neil Adams quite blatantly said, if you're an artist, you're a production artist, and you say that you don't trace, you are a liar. Okay, because we all have to do it from one time to another to get jobs out the door. Okay, we've all had to do it because we're in production. It's a business. We have to get the job done. It's not like the Sistine Chapel. It's not the Mona Lisa. It's not specifically and exclusively a work of art. It's a production job. It's telling stories. It's getting the work done. Okay, so there's that aspect to it. There's also the aspect of finding 3D models now is so much easier from the because you can go on the internet and go to Google. You can find all kinds of reference. Okay, and back in the day, you'd have to go to a library to do that. All right, where you'd have your own reference books, and sometimes you do photocopies, and sometimes you do bits and pieces. It's like I say with drawing pencils in digitally, whether it's Photoshop or whether it's Clip Studio. I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did on my Lightbox. It's just quicker and a little bit easier. Okay, that's all it is. It's just a different tool, and it makes life easier for me. But all that said, okay, if you can't imagine the environment, the things that you're drawing in your head, at least roughly, say, okay, I can't draw, say, a lion just off the top of my head. I can, okay, but I know that I'm going to go and find some reference. But I know that I can draw a comic strip of several panels with a lion in it and come up with the interesting angles and where that lion would fit because I have that logged in my head. Okay, I don't need to go and find reference. I don't need to go and find the 3D model. Okay, and because of that, it means that my strip is freer. It means it has more energy, it has more dynamics to it, and it also makes it easier to tell a story. Okay, if you're relying on getting the model and putting it in a particular position, which you can never bloody find anyway, I can't when I do 3D models, or you're going and getting reference to think I can trace that, you are stunting the flow of your sequential artwork.
That is exactly what Frank Bellamy did. He got tons of reference off Jerry Anderson for Thunderbirds, but he never drew that photograph of Thunderbird 2 the way it was in the photograph. And he had photographs of all the different angles and everything, but he never traced it. He never drew that angle. He always drew his own angle, if you understand what I mean. And that's what he did, and that's why it was one of the.
And that's why it was so beautiful. Yeah.
To put it simply, there's a big difference between a tool and a crutch.
Yes.
You want to decide for yourself what kind of an artist you want to be working in this business. Do you want to be known as someone who knows how to use the tools correctly, or do you want to be known as somebody who uses crutches?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's what it means to you. I mean, you could go through your whole career tracing everything, getting paid for it, and not caring. If that's what you want to do, then fine. That's great. I don't have a problem with that. People do what they're going to do.
And it depends
what you want out of yourself.
Right. Yeah. There are artists out there now that have bad reputations for tracing. And it's going to take them twice as long to be respected as actual artists, because everybody knows, hey, you grab whatever porn film you can find and trace this position, or hey, you use 3D modeler way too much. We're all laughing because we know exactly who we're talking about here.
Specifically to the land of Greg. That's
the kind of reputation you want to try to avoid if you want to be taken seriously in the business.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, you're exactly right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much of that. Like I say, if you want to do it, go do it. Whatever you want to do.
And he might never be using references. That artist might never be using references again. But it's a tag that's going to stay with him.
Exactly. He may have got to a
long
point now.
Time. Yeah.
He may have got to a point now where his art is just that he is that damn good. But because he did it and was known for it, it's never going to leave him, and people will never believe it. And so it really comes down to your development as an artist or as a designer or whatever, and what you get from it. What do you want from it?
Yeah,
okay, right. And unfortunately, the business is not well paid enough for you to say, sorry, I'm just going to trace my way through and get paid, 20 grand a month for what I do. No, it doesn't work that way.
But it's funny though how Tarantino stole shots, didn't he? In Reservoir Dogs, certain sequences he took those out of other films, didn't he? And he's admitted this, but he made it. I don't know whether they were tracings, if you understand what I mean, exactly as what he was referring to. But there is an aspect of, somebody pointed out, am I making sense? Somebody pointed it out that this when they all walk out with their suits on, it's from a Japanese film or something.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But he got away with it. But that's Quentin Tarantino.
Well, again, what's Empyrean Vole is saying, that there is a difference between tracing and swiping. Yeah. So you can look at something and be inspired by it and say, I'd really like to have that kind of imagery in what I'm doing. And it be homage-like, but also we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. Every time I lay down work, I have images around me of the people that I love, and even more up on the bookshelf that I flick through. It's always going to make some kind of effect on what I'm doing.
Absolutely,
I can't help but do that. So there is definitely a difference between inspiration and even swiping to the point of, I really like that position, I'm going to do that, or I really like the way that works, and then literally just tracing. There is
and you're also wasting time, because you're looking, you're not feeling up to it one day, and you think, well, how would Kirby approach this? So you look through 15 Kirby books and you don't find what you want, and you end up doing it anyway. So you're wasting your own time. You might as well try and tackle it straight away.
I have found my artwork improving and speeding up at the same time, purely through doing it. Practice. I now come to a panel and I don't go and look for reference. I don't go and look. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still go to the reference afterwards. I'll still make sure I'm getting things right and what have you. But my instant sort of, how do I put this scene together? How do I put anatomy together? How do I put large areas together? No, I'm straight in and I look for the difficult positions. I don't bottle out, and I used to all the time. So I'd go, I'd go find photo reference or something. I think, is that working? Is it not working? Am I getting this right? And like I say, everybody's traced, everybody's done bits and pieces. But now I come to a story and I draw it the way I'm imagining it in my head. And the 3D comes together out of my internal 3D map of the scene. And that's because of practice. Practice.
Yep. Empyrean said trace models are obvious, though. The art has a stiff, non-illustrative quality to it compared to Silver Age or Bronze Age art. It just isn't as fun to look at. Yeah, that's very true. Says, like, I have more respect for a swiper than a tracer. I spend a lot of time swiping stuff in my sketchbooks to learn. Well, that's how you learn. A lot of times, as you look at somebody, just like what Russ was saying, you get that those people that inspire you with the people that you admire that do the specific angles of the dynamics or the way that they tell their story is the way that you want to tell your story.
So just answer to Draw and Talk. Yeah. Yes, you're right. There is absolutely nothing wrong with using 3D photos or tracing, 3D models or tracing. There's nothing wrong with it. Anybody who's been in the business long enough will do it. Neil Adams himself has said, if you say that you don't do it, you're a liar. Okay, everybody does it. But if you rely upon it, it will stunt the flow of sequential art, specifically sequential art, because you're always looking for not so much the 3D models, but certainly tracing images. It will stunt the flow of your storytelling instead of you letting it come through.
And there are so many artistic ways to get around that.
Yeah.
That if you go and you look at some of the masters, some of the people that have really got this artwork down, you look at Alex Toth, he strips everything away. Same thing with C.C. Beck, who I really admired. When he first started doing Captain Marvel, he realized he went from an advertising illustration career to drawing comics. So he said, well, what are comics? Comics are bright colors, simple lines, just tell the story and get it done. So he took his style and just stripped the heck out of it, right down to dots for eyes and curves and very little muscle tone, lots of open spaces, lots of open backgrounds on purpose, because he, in his mind, that's what a comic book was: bright colors, large spaces.
Yeah, but that, I mean, again, that comes down to style, and again, for Draw and Talk's comments, you're right about backgrounds as well. There's nothing wrong with tracing backgrounds. However, don't let your selection of backgrounds or reference sway the direction of your sequential art.
Yes,
that's when it becomes stunted. And that's the whole point. So use all the tools at your disposal to make a job happen.
Draw and Talk says, Draw and Talk says comics are so time consuming to make. Use methods in 2021 that make it easier. Yeah. Just don't use them as a crutch. Don't depend on them. Use them as a tool.
Yeah.
To get your point across, not a crutch to go, oh, look, this is really pretty because I traced it.
It's that thing with the words as well, isn't it? It's economy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You strip out that extra cross hatching because you don't really need it. You put it in if it makes it look nice, but you don't really need it. It depends what you want to achieve, and the storytelling is the most important part, obviously.
If you understand how the basic shapes work together in a scene, and whether that's anatomy or just the 3D environment that the anatomy sits within, then you can simplify over the top of that. You can break it down because you're understanding what's going on.
That's right.
Jennifer's got that problem at the moment. She says, my biggest issue is my classical figure drawing classes. My figures are still too realistic. Well, there's a lot of ways to define your style, Jennifer, and there's a lot of ways to draw comics. Go through and look at the more unrealistic artists. Are the ones that I love are the ones that have their own individual look, whether they're realistic looking or not. You take, and for many years, I wasn't that attracted to Kirby, but you sit there and you look at him and you go, oh, it's basic shapes. And he's working in a 3-dimensional universe, pretty much. Circle, 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 square, square, square. That's an arm and a hand. It's amazing when you sit there and actually look at it and go through it and take a look at some of these people like C.C. Becker or Alex Toth who stripped the detail down to just solid. Alex Toth is a master of negative space. If you ever get a chance to buy, and again, we should be hooked in with Amazon because there's all sorts of books on Alex Toth art available on Amazon right now. IDW's done a beautiful set of large hardbound books that are well worth the cost to take a look at this guy's work. And Alex drew everything. gothic romance, he drew superheroes, he drew hot rod magazines. He did everything that he could, because like all the artists back during that period, you did whatever you could at whatever job you could find in order to put food on your table.
Yeah.
And there's always room, especially if you're creative out there, for sequential art to be used. You just have to find it.
I think the main thing is the fact that all those people you mentioned, they can draw.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You've got to be able to do it to know how to leave pieces
how to strip it away. Yeah.
So your anatomy classes are incredibly important.
Or you
so
go
and you understand how anatomy works, not just literally the way the muscles go put together, but also the weight, gravity, posture, incredibly important. You know, that kind of thing.
And every artist has their strengths and weaknesses as well. Yeah. And for you to sit there and look at all of these different, especially the individual guys and girls out there, look at Ramona Fradon, just beautiful, phenomenal work as an example. You'll decipher it for yourself, and you'll be able to work it out. Seriously,
your style will always come through.
Your style will always come through. Yeah.
Got some Sinner over Kirby here. And there's one particular panel that jumped out at me, and that was this panel.
Yeah.
This bottom panel. The figure drawing in this is not what you usually expect. When you think of Kirby, okay, you think of like, you know, big bold lines, some lines just not in the right place when it comes to knees and triceps and stuff like that. But you can see just how much in the body language, in the weight of the people, that he understood anatomy extremely well.
Yeah.
Okay? And nobody
this is just gorgeous.
Nobody in that panel is remotely stiff. They're not standing straight up and down. No. Even Nick Fury, I believe that, or no, is that Matt Murdock in the back? He's tilted off to the side. Yeah. The thing is popped right in there, just louder than ever.
Over where Reed is talking to the surgeon. Just over his shoulder, you see a portion of that guy's face.
Yeah.
And that just works so damn well. And you look at the simplicity of the lines. This is economy of lines. That's what's going on here. This is well told strip at its perfection.
And again, you look at the panel above that. Oh, open that back up. You look at the panel above that at Johnny's hand. Square.
Yeah,
right there.
Just beautiful stuff.
Yeah,
and then
also made as simplistic and as quick as possible, because these guys were hitting deadlines.
Yeah, and Sinnott's inks, they're just gorgeous.
Yeah,
I got Romita here. I mean, look at this. Look at the depth in this stuff.
Yeah,
and look at the lighting going on here. Just brilliant.
And seriously, on that page that he's using, look at the lack of backgrounds.
Exactly. Yeah.
And incredible use of tension there. Using the blacks up against the sheen of the character, the reaction. Everything is used. There's a deep economy of language there of iconism, I guess, of using recognized icons, shadows and lines and blasts, that kind of thing. You see a lot of that in manga, where they have almost a completely different language, but you can still see what causes tension, what causes movement, and with just an economy of line.
Have a good deep dive into this splash page, okay, which isn't the most exciting splash page ever, but the line work in there is so simple, it's so beautiful. There's this one image, but just this.
Everybody has their pluses. Look at that fist.
Have a good look at that Spider-Man look at that.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Just look how clean, economical that is.
I thought you were going to point out that big fist.
Oh no, the fist. I mean, the fist.
Look at the letter in there as well. Look at that.
Yeah,
I know I'm always going on about it, but beautiful, isn't it?
Great.
All those titles were amazing.
Flash in the queue there. Look.
Yeah,
yeah, fantastic.
Brilliant.
So
yeah, you have to get it right first.
Yeah, learn your anatomy.
Yeah, learn it, and
it's the same with perspective, isn't it? You've got Kirby bends his perspective all the time, but he's a master of perspective.
He's a master of dynamics, especially
Yeah,
and how to use that perspective to cause tension and action.
Yeah,
cheating is the way to do it. That's what I found. I tried, worked really hard on the basics. Okay, it took me a long time to get them sorted out. It's still learning, but I'm a long way. I'm a long way up that road, and it's really has, you know, by looking at those artists, I've realised that it's about dynamics, it's about energy and storytelling, absolutely before anything else. But the only way to make those things work is to have that underpinning of the basics.
Yeah.
You must know, otherwise you can't cheat. Can't cheat a rule until you know it.
And one of the best ways to learn that is look at comics and break them down in your own eye and do comics, draw comics, create comics, and just stay out there and keep creating. You get that passion, get that bug in your blood, and you're gonna be a skilled artist in no time. You just have to stay at it. It's like learning any other tool or any other instrument. You don't pick up a guitar. Most people don't just pick up a guitar and figure out how to play it immediately. It takes years of practice and study and learning and looking at how other guitarists work, listening to other guitar work and figuring out what they did in order to get that effect. You know, and that's when you get really creative, especially when you teach yourself. Because you never know what shortcut you're going to create or what technique you're going to find that'll end up being your part of your personal signature.
And this is where the practice and the artwork comes in, and with the guitar, because every drawing you do, every line you lay down you're getting nearer the goal of perfection, which you'll never get, but you're nearer to it. Mm-hmm. And the more you do it, and the more consistent you are with it, and the more often you do it, the better you're going to get.
Yeah, and the more you realise that perfection isn't real.
Yeah,
perfection isn't the realistic interpretation of the world around you. It's perfection is when you hit your style and you hit the energy that you want to portray. I mean, you're never going to get it, but that's the direction. When you start realising that you're not trying to recreate the world around you in your artwork, you're trying to fool the reader into believing what's going on. And that's
Could you imagine how good Kirby would have been if he would have hit perfection?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, really, isn't it?
How would that have worked? Yeah, and would we have gotten OMAC out of that?
Probably not. No,
or Commandy or the Demon.
Yeah,
you know.
But the way he put his line down, it was always the right line. You know, the first straight away with his drawing.
Yeah,
the first line was the correct line. That's why he could produce so much work as well. As being fast.
Well, he got to a point where he knew where to lay the correct line.
Yeah,
and that took years of constant page drawing in order to get to that.
But he was still pretty good in 1941 when he was starting out.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, he was a bit nearer than we are at that time.
He got better as he went along.
Of course, yeah, of course he did. That's what I'm saying. The more you do it, the better you get at playing guitar. You know, the more you do it, the singing or whatever you do, driving a car, you get better at it. No, hopefully you do. You should do, because if you don't, you should be doing something else, shouldn't you?
Don't try to tell my wife that. Anyway,
well, tell Kirby that he got stopped driving, didn't he? Roz wouldn't let him drive. Like that guy chasing me, you know, somebody should stop him driving, shouldn't they? They should learn how to use the road.
Just road rage, yeah.
But just because he had to stop, he wanted to punch me out. What kind of a dickhead is that?
It's probably an American.
Yeah. But he followed me. He followed me around several streets and turns and traffic lights, you know.
Oh, he's probably from Flint then.
Well, he must have been really angry, wasn't he, when he left home that morning?
He might be from Essex.
Yeah, on his way to Essex.
Only way is Essex, mate.
Yeah, if he didn't have to stop, he might get there tomorrow.
What? Jennifer leaves. William Pace comes in. Are they the same person? We don't know. William Pace says, "Hail,
hail, William.
Hail, William.
Hail and Pace."
Pop Culture Avenger in the house. Hey, good morning. Morning to everybody. So I hope everybody's doing well. Varian, do we have any radio numbers?
I'm pulling them up now. I'm having all sorts of issues with it.
Cranking them up. You got the hamster on the wheel turning?
Yeah, no, we can't afford hamsters anymore. We have to go to
your son.
No,
even hamsters have union rules.
Even hamsters have unions here.
Yeah, we picked up a couple possums for cheap though. So
Detroit, it's a hell of a town.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do we got here, Russ? Oh, look at that.
So this is one of the pages from issue 4, and also book 2.
Cool.
So I've got somebody else inking these pages. The main book is still me, but I've got this sort of like stories from the Eternal Realm. It's kind of like a Watcher kind of world building thing. That's what this is from. And I've got Matthew Seaborn doing the inks on that. So,
how did you do the background?
Oh no, that's photographic.
Right.
Yeah, just ran it through a filter, put it in black and white.
Right.
So I messed about with like it's a bit sort of Steranko-ish and Kirby, where I got different pictures and collaged them.
Yes. So. Yeah. Wow. And the illustration, I think, has got a lot of Steranko in it.
Yeah, there's like a shield, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a bit of that in there. Yeah. And then I'm just in the middle of doing this one. So
love it. Large dots. You can never go wrong with large dots.
Oh no, I love them. Circles. You got to love circles, haven't you?
Large circles. Yeah. Had a kid ask me at when I was teaching cartooning one time, why does Thor have those big blue dots on his chest? It's because it looks cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
That's why. That's exactly why.
Need? What more do you need?
Yeah. What more do you need?
Yeah.
And sometimes Jack had drawing with 8 on instead of 6, and John Romita used to change it in the office apparently.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I heard, yeah. Because he'd just draw as many as he wanted. Sometimes he'd have 4 on. Yeah,
this works. Wait, you forgot the 2 on his underwear. There you go.
Yeah. So John Romita had a good job, didn't he, getting all that Kirby artwork to look at before he had to sort of make little changes. It's like the letters were the only people apart from the editors who saw the pages naked, as it were.
Yeah.
Because when Joe Sinnott got the pages, they'd been lettered, so.
Yeah.
But lovely stuff.
Empyrean says Russ looking great. Pop Culture Avengers is great. Sweet page. And William Pace says I will be looking forward to book 2.
It's on its way. It's really quite weird because I'm obviously putting it together as it's one story. It's in 3 parts, but when you read it in the graphic novel, you won't know that it's in 3 parts.
Yeah.
But it's done. It's written very well by Rick to take advantage of the 3-part aspect. So it will be issues 4, 5, and 6. So actually, what I'm doing is I'm doing a 6-month turnaround. My campaign starts 1st of October, but everybody will be getting the book in March. So it's only like a 5-month wait, which is pretty similar to what I did last year with book 1. But I'm also doing it I'm effectively creating it in 3 bits as 3 separate issues for Arrow, so that when they come out, it's just easier to do it that way. So it's the first time I've had to do that. So for my own book. So
you're drawing the whole story and
whole thing.
It will be broken down into.
And it'll be broken down into 3 because it's issues 4, 5, and 6. We've already got issues 1, 2, and 3 from the first book. So it's issues 4, 5, and 6. But obviously that won't come out until after the book has got to backers. So it's just the way that I'm producing it. But I've had to schedule it and everything. So I've got hold of myself a letterer and a flatter. And obviously Matthew's doing the extra inks for me as well. And then Doctor Who jumped in and said, "Could you do me some
pays
stuff?"
The bills.
So I've got to do that, and there is another one on the cards as well for something else, and I'm going to have to squeeze that in as well.
How many pages for Doctor Who, or can you not say?
It was 6.
6.
But I did. That? Yeah, but I did the previous 2 issues. I also had to do a story, so I did two pages 4 pages over 2 issues of like illustrations for a prose story, and then they asked me to do a strip, so they took them down. So that's coming back.
Great.
The Return of Absalom Dark.
That would be fun. Now, I'd like to do a strip of Absalom Dark. That would be very good. Very good.
For those of you in the States that aren't aware of that character, that's a Dalek hunter that would use a sword that was set up like a chainsaw. It's awesome.
Very good.
As a kid, that had a deep impact on my youth.
That was
a while, is it?
That was what artist was that? Come on, Russ.
I believe Dave Gibbons did a lot of that.
Dave Gibbons, that's it. Sorry, I was trying to remember his name because he did the first Tom Baker strip, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, at least the ones that were printed over here in the in that Marvel printed in floppy form here in the States. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. It was great because you sat and looked at this strip by Dave Gibbons, and it was like this is like 2000 AD, but it's Doctor Who. It was absolutely
yes, it was.
Those first few strips from Dave Gibbons were just stunning, absolutely, and he captured without it being photographic or traced. He did capture Tom Baker exceptionally well. Really, really good.
Well, come on, Tom Baker's got a very distinctive face as well.
He is. I mean, like
he really does.
Peter Capaldi was quite
easy to capture,
quite straightforward to capture. Yeah.
I think one of the hardest things to draw are Daleks, aren't they?
Yeah, because you have to go. You have to go and reference them. If you're drawing a Dalek, every time you put a Dalek on a page, and this is the weird thing, it doesn't matter if it's an army of Daleks or one Dalek, they have to pay a particular fee for putting a Dalek on the page.
To the Terry Nation estate.
Yeah.
So right? Wow.
So they're very selective about what they do with them. So that's why you might see an army of Daleks and then none.
Pretty crazy for a salt shaker with a whisk in one hand and a plunger in the other. Yeah.
But if you do draw the Dalek, you have to get it right at whatever version of Dalek you're drawing, because there will be complaint letters if you don't.
And speaking of complaints, standards and practices calling again.
So
the best drawing of a Dalek I've seen was by Frank Bellamy again on that Radio Times cover. Have you seen that?
Yeah, wonderful.
He should have been drawing it the Dalek strip in TV21 as well as all the
Frank Bellamy. Wasn't there a version of the film? Wasn't there a comic book version of the Peter Cushing film?
Yeah, I think that was.
Did Bellamy draw that?
No, I think that was what's he called?
Burns.
I can't remember his name. Does it Turner?
Right. Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Reg Turner or something.
Yeah.
Somebody over at Amazon keeps trying to buy a MacBook Pro apparently.
Oh right.
with my card, and I need to call them back so I can give them my card information to make sure that I can reject the sale.
All right.
Isn't that amazing?
But that sounds fishy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fishy at all.
Yeah. It's like, so someone trying to buy a MacBook. Could you give me your card information so that we can stop it?
It's like the ones that tell you got a free cruise, Caribbean cruise. You just have to call up and give us your card information to pay the $9.99 shipping fee. That's all.
I got a call the other day telling me it said you have your Amazon order has just been completed.
Yeah,
she'll be with you in 2 weeks and blah blah. I didn't hear any. I just didn't listen to any more. I just turned it off.
I had some guy phone me up yesterday or the day before. Hello there. Hope you're doing well today. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, sorry, who are you? Oh, I'm such and such and such from the Energy Commission. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, right, okay. Where'd you get my number from? It was silence. He started talking again. I said, where did you get my number from? I do believe I've got a withheld number, and you're probably calling me illegally. He went quiet. And then the phone, and then I had to click. It's like, just don't. If you're phoning me, you should know who I am, and what my phone number is, and what account number I have. Because if you don't, go away. I'm not interested.
Well, if they ask me my name, if they say, "Is that you?" I say, "Well, you tell me."
You tell me exactly. Yeah,
you're ringing me.
Yeah, this is an unsolicited call. I'm not interested. Go away. Yeah. I don't answer my landline anymore unless I recognise the number.
I've been waiting.
If it's important, they'll leave a message.
I've been waiting for a call for a while from a number that'll probably come through unknown number, and
right,
you know,
so that I have means you have to answer everything.
Spammers. Yeah. Well, I printed my number, and when I printed the newspaper, I printed my number there and got quite a bit of commercial assignments off of that from numbers that I didn't know. So
yeah, well, yeah.
I don't want to turn anybody away, but I sure will block them in a hurry.
Yeah.
Everybody saying hey in the chat. What up? What up, lovelies? From Mike Jimmy. Jimmy. Good to hear from you, buddy. Pop says Daleks are the plunger people. No, they're the ones they had to figure out. It took them Russell Davies, I think, to do the Daleks for everybody to figure out how they navigated stairs.
They didn't.
So we always wondered how they did that. They float.
Yeah, they did. That was later, though, wasn't it? They were always stuck.
I always wondered how they got up and down stairs, or the elevator. Just take.
That was in Chris Eccleston. When Chris Eccleston was in, wasn't it?
Yes.
The stairs, and they thought they were getting in. All of a sudden, he just lifts up, doesn't he? And comes upstairs. so they can. I mean, it's like
we'll outrun them. Run, go up these stairs. They'll never find us.
You've got this top computer thing, a Dalek thing, animation, whatever you call it, robot thing, and they can cross the galaxy in the biggest space you've ever made, but they can't get up a flight of stairs. You think they'd have worked that one out, wouldn't you? This was quite a long while ago.
Well, they did, but it took them, quite a few seasons of Doctor Who to figure that out. Yeah. Catching the end again? Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah, you are. Mike Jimmy, sorry. Hey, Mike. Everybody says, hey, Mike. Hey, Pops. Hey, Pops. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot for listening. Varian, do we have any radio numbers?
Yeah. 55,106. 55,106.
We want to thank everybody listening to us today for putting up with our nitwittery here on the Breakfast Buzz. We've covered a wide range of topics because we didn't have anything to talk about. Varian wasn't here early on to give us the direction with strange and unusual questions from the email.
Yeah, I apologize. The internet was out.
That's all right.
Yeah,
we got by. So, hey, we're getting ready to actually close things out at this point. We should probably tell folks how they can find us. Glenn, can you tell folks how they can find you?
Yeah, you can. All my books and magazines are on Amazon, so you can go there, or you can get me on Facebook or by email on comicsunlimitedmagazine@gmail.com. But watch out on Indiegogo over the next few days for my Jack Kirby film and book, which will be being offered to the public.
How soon is another Comics Unlimited coming?
I'm just finishing off the next number 8 now, so that will probably be week after next.
Cool. On the schedule.
Yeah.
There you
hopefully, at the moment.
Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt. You can find me on the internet at russleach.com. And you can find me in all the usual places like the Twitter and the Fleecebook, Instagram and Minds. And Minds. I go in there occasionally. Not a lot of traffic going on, but I try to. Yeah, that's about it, really. You can find out more about my book, Only Death Can Save Us, at onlydeathcansavus.com, and also over at Arrow Comics. The sign up, if you're new to Only Death Can Save Us, is live at the moment. And also the campaign will be starting next Friday, I think, which is the 1st of October. Yeah. And you'll be able to pick up the first book with the second book if you want to. Obviously, all returning customers, returning backers will be getting a little bit extra.
Sweet. Varian, tell folks how they can find you if you want to be found.
Yeah. AYD_V on Twitter. And then, of course, Varian Grant on every other social media network. Check my publishing company, Last Call Comics. Find that at lastcallcomics.com, as well as Liberty Entertainment Distribution Group, LEDG.US. And that's it for me.
And at least Varian and myself, maybe a few other folks, will be around Tuesday night for the Live Wire program at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. here on the Indie Volt Radio Network. Geekgasm is back. They just ran an episode last night, run by the Indie Princess. That's at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, Eastern Standard Time. Then join us back here again Thursday morning, just like we did today at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Breakfast Buzz. And also on Sunday, I usually do a show called the Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays, where we talk about the more fun and lighthearted side of comics, try to put the fun back in funny books, and the conversation usually goes all over the place like it did today. But I'm taking this Sunday off, so I will be back next Sunday with another episode of Sunday Funnies. So we want to invite everybody to write in to Indie Volt, please. Your comments, suggestions, questions. When you don't meet us live, you can always send us an email at indievoltlive@indievolt.com. Please include Indie Volt Live in the subject so that we know it's a question or something that needs to be addressed, and keep it to 90 words or less so that Varian can type it up on a card and occasionally so that we can all discuss your question or comment together. Also, remember that we are on Indie Volt Radio. We appreciate everybody that's listening to us today. IndieVolt.com. You can reach that through. If you ask Alexa nicely, she might actually be able to turn on Indie Volt Radio for you. Just ask her nicely. And you can find an app over on Google Play and over in Streama and any place else other than that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
On the website itself.
And on the website itself, IndieVolt.com. Yep. And if you're tired of looking at us and you want to watch other stuff from Indie Volt also has a Roku channel. And there are a few podcasts over there that we don't have up on YouTube, only a couple, though, I believe. But there's also other things to stream, TV shows, wrestling shows, movies and stuff, Indie Volt TV on your Roku box, and it's free. Just go over there and subscribe up to it. So we want to remind everybody about Liberty Distribution. Arrow Comics is available exclusively through there, and a lot of other great books. Please have your retailer check out www.ledg.us and sign up. Be a member. Have Liberty Distribution. You're already working with 3 more distributors, but this is an incredible opportunity for you to catch alternative and independent books that are shipped directly to your store, bagged and boarded, and with a Liberty guarantee that if you decide the book isn't selling for you and you want to trade it back in, you can trade it back in for another title, as long as it has that Liberty backing board on it. And we know it came from us.
Yep, the Liberty Pledge.
The Liberty Pledge. Yep. We want to also remind everybody that has a campaign out there or is about to have a campaign out there that's going to need fulfillment, that Gemini Comic Supply. You want to mail that out in a Gemini mailer. It's the safest way to get your book to your backer. There are a lot of great products over there. It's a fantastic site. And if you go over there and buy things from GeminiComicSupply.com on your way out the door, use the coupon code VOLT10, VOLT10, and the folks at Gemini will take 10% off of your order. You get a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers, your order over there at that site, courtesy of the kind folks over at Gemini Comic Supply and us here at Indie Volt. And we know of a lot of people that have taken advantage of that discount, and it does come in very handy. I've taken advantage of it myself.
Oh, yeah. I got the, a lot of people.
A lot of people. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. We want to remind people of the immortal words of Jack Kirby as we leave. That, hey, the audience is always there, and comic books have yet to reach its full potential. Jack Kirby. We could leave on a positive note or on a negative note, because he also said, kid, comics will break your heart. Jack Kirby. But we want to remind folks to buy independent and alternative comics, especially ours, as Daphne used to say. And as Varian says, please, please leave this industry in better shape than what you found it. Anything else?
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks again for listening to the Breakfast Buzz for the 23rd of September, 2021. We deeply appreciate you listening, and we wish you nothing but the best. Have a great rest of your week. Stay healthy, and we shall talk to you soon.
See you later.
That's Vidania.
And here we go. All right. Take care, everybody.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.